And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Phone number 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. Hey, you're listening to The Bald Show and I can't hear myself. Let me see if I could fix that. This is really the only broadcast in America and around the world that deals with one subject and one subject only, and that's hair loss. So if it's freaking you out that this show is about hair loss, then change the station, turn the dial, do something else with your time, because that's what this broadcast is all about. 888-659-3727. If you're new to the broadcast, I'll tell you who I am. I am a consumer advocate for men and women dealing with hair loss. I'm the author of The Bald Truth and the Truth About Women's Hair Loss. And I'm a guy who's been dealing with hair loss for over 20 years. Now, if you're just tuning in, you've never seen me before, you're like, wait a second, it looks like you have hair in your head. Well, I do still have hair on my head. Looks are a little deceiving, though. But I've been lucky enough to slow the progression of my hair loss using FDA-approved medication. I kind of have a quasi-comb-over with a little makeup, hairspray, and voila, I have kind of a full-looking head of hair. But for all of you young cats out there who are just going through the initial throes of hair loss, who are dealing with this for the first time, who are just waking up today, and by the way, happy Easter to everybody, and happy Passover, good Pesach to my 4 Jewish listeners, including myself. I probably have more than 4 Jewish listeners, at least I'm hoping. But you may have woken up yesterday for the first time realizing that you're losing your hair. You don't know what to do about it. You don't know where to turn. You don't know how far this is going to progress. It's important that you know, if you're new, that hair loss is a progressive disorder. It's a progressive disease. We consider it to be a disease of the spirit. I get it. It's not cancer. Totally understand that. But for many of us who are dealing with hair loss, for a lot of you guys, especially the young guys and girls who are dealing with it initially for the first few years, it is absolutely devastating. There are those who are able to come to grips with their situation. I'm not one of them. That's not true. But I mean, I just wasn't equipped to deal with hair loss at a young age, and it flipped me out, just like it is flipping you guys out. This is your safe place to get completely objective information about anything and everything hair loss. That's why we do this show. This isn't Dr. Phil. This is a hair loss show. It's not Howard Stern. This is a hair loss show. I mean, I have been referred to as the Dr. Drew of hair loss, which is an incredible compliment. But I mean, really what we are here to do is not only guide you in a safe direction about anything and everything hair loss, but, you know, we provide you with a platform, a place to vent, a place to learn, a place to share, a place to come and realize that there are other people out there dealing with what you're dealing with. And there are safe choices to make. There are safer resources out there than others. And God, it's like 110 degrees in here. And we just wanted to create this place, and I've been doing this for 14 years, to let you know that, you know what, again, you're not alone. You are not alone. You're not going to find hope or a cure in the bottle of some lotion or potion that you buy on the internet. You're not going to all of a sudden find the cure for hair loss by picking up somebody's ebook who's claiming that, you know, they found the cure. Because believe me, if these guys found the cure for hair loss, they would be on the cover of Time magazine. They wouldn't be selling a book on a Blogspot blog. I mean, I hope you cats realize that. But, sadly you don't. A lot of people don't. 888-659-3727. So, look, this is your safe place. This is a place, and I got hair in my eye. I didn't put enough hairspray on. Having an erotic breakdown. This is a place where guys like me share their issues with hair loss. And again, I'm the founder of the American Hair Loss Association. I'm also the founder of the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons, which we can talk more about later if you guys are interested in surgical hair restoration. But understand there are only a handful of hair transplant surgeons in the entire world who I would even consider to allow into this group. And every doctor that is recommended in the IHRS, that is accepted in the IHRS, pays an annual screening fee. I would love to take everybody's money, but I can't. That's how effed up the industry is. That's how few people, in my view, are really providing a great service to their patients in this field. So please, before you decide to buy any product or service to treat your hair loss, before you get online or call that 800 number, please check us out, learn about hair loss. Check out AmericanHairLoss.org. That's the website for the American Hair Loss Association. Share your thoughts and learn at baldtruthtalk.com, which is our message forum, and watch this broadcast. 888-659-3727. Let's get to the phones. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
You know what, Spencer? I have no choice tonight but to perform a mass castigation before our millions of listeners tonight.
Yeah.
I am tired of the people on the message forum posting misinformation on Hisgen, Adirans, Follica, Allergen, Replacel, all these companies. These people have absolutely no information. As you know, I'm one of the leading hair loss experts in the world. You see me making any posts about Replacel, Adirans, I find it extremely annoying. These people are making all kinds of statements, and it has to be stopped. I mean, stopped now. You play.
My name is
Joe from Staten Island.
My name is. Excuse me. My name is.
Would you like to may reiterate it?
My name is.
Have you heard it? Excuse me.
My name is.
Joe from Staten Island.
You know, Joe, before I let you go on, and I really appreciate your thoughts and your concerns, I do think it's important. While I do believe that you are one of the most researched laymen out there as far as hair loss is concerned and the hair loss industry, it's difficult for me to allow you to say that you're a world-leading expert in hair loss. No offense. And the reason I'm putting that out there is I don't want people to get confused. I don't want people to think that, Joe from Staten Island is some sort of a scientist, some sort of a researcher. You get my drift, dude?
No, I understand. I understand exactly the same. But these people are constantly posting misinformation. As you know, 2 years ago, I gave out the information on allergen. Dr. Bauman congratulated me on that. People made a fortune off of that.
Absolutely.
That call.
Yeah.
Stock quadrupled within an 18-month period from $27 a share to $108. As we know, people made a fortune off of that call. I'm trying to say they're saying only things about Replacel. They know absolutely nothing. I know nothing. We know nothing. I mean, these people are getting, especially Iron Man on a certain site run by Oriental gentlemen. I won't mention the site on the air to give them an extra traffic, but it's really aggravating.
Oh, it is. Well, no, I definitely think it's aggravating. I certainly agree with what you're saying. I do think that you guys have to understand it's a message forum. These are message forums. These are people who are not in the industry that are posting about this stuff. These are people who are just sharing with their thoughts and their speculation. Sadly, there's a lot of guys out there, especially the newer guys who are on the message forums, that it's difficult for them to decipher the difference between real information and speculation coming from the lay public. So that's a problem. So I certainly understand what you're talking about. However,
I mean,
I also think there's a pretty significant percentage of people that understand that there's just a lot of people out there that don't know shit about what's really going on and who are just posting because this is what they do. This is where they spend their time. There's a lot of people who are just, they're exceptionally obsessive about what's going on. I get it. This is what I do. This is how I make my living. I certainly understand that. But they are hoping against hope. They are they're putting out speculation as fact, and it's been happening since I've been in this industry.
I mean, we are on the cusp of history now. We are on the cusp of $1 trillion medical cure.
Right.
And these people are making these comments that Repulsol grows 10%, 20%, 30% efficacy. They have no knowledge. I consider myself a knowledgeable person as you. And I have no knowledge of this, and I'm sure you don't either. I mean, why do they put this information out for public consumption? To me, I find it offensive as a hair loss sufferer.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I agree with that, but I also don't think that you need to be... I understand your passion, Joe, but again, I'm going to try to put things into perspective. It's a message forum. I understand how important those forums are and how the forums tend to control the flow of information about many industries. But I think consumers need to know that they need to read between the lines. Wait for the true experts to come out and talk about it. When David Hall comes out to talk about what's going on, when Craig Ziering decides he wants to come on talk more about histogen, when we bring the information to the table, then I hope that people will understand that, we're providing information that is factual, not just based on speculation, as opposed to a lot of the guys that are just posting in the message forum.
Well, there's one person in particular on a certain message form. I won't mention his name, but I really think he's either psychotic or he's paid by a certain segment of the industry to, to post his information 25 times a day. I think you know who I'm talking about. Should I mention his name?
No.
The pseudonym he uses?
No, don't mention his name. And you may be right.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you know
he's
what?
He's a Marvel action figure.
Right, but I do...
I do. About?
Yeah, I'm seeing the guy in the chat saying, I'm
this
Iron Man.
This guy is either psychotic or gets paid a lot of money to do what he's doing.
No, he's not getting paid a lot of money to do what he's doing. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of guys out there that are just, they're obsessed. And I understand it. I don't know if it's healthy or unhealthy, but you know what it does? It gets people talking. So at the very least, at least these guys are out there. They're posting their opinions, they're posting their speculation, and they're getting people interested, they're getting people talking, and they're getting these companies involved to some degree because they're reading what's going on in the message forums too. I will tell you that I've had conversations with some of the principals of certain companies who just kind of like laugh about it and say, wow, where do these guys get this shit from? They are so off base. However, it still keeps the ball rolling as far as keeping people interested in these technologies. So it's good for the companies. I think it's good for hair loss. And I'm not here to condemn anybody who is, spending the time to post on message forums because they do keep this flow going. And you guys have the right to go out there and state your opinion, which I think is important.
But my point is these companies are dealing with the medical, something that will change the demographic of society forever. Economically, financially, and socially will change the face of the world. And they want to cure this devastating disease. And these people post this BS in the message forum. It's really starting to aggravate me to no end.
Yeah.
They have absolutely no knowledge of what's going behind Repulsol's doors. Yeah, I told them about Allergen. What Allergen's doing, they made a fortune off of that. A lot of hair loss sufferers by buying the stock. But you know what I'm trying to make? It's just too much. It's too much.
Listen, I understand that, man. I understand your aggravation. I hate to see you come on the air so riled up over nothing, but I get it. But look, Joe, we have to take a break. I want to put you on hold, and actually, I have to actually have to ask you a question off the air. So stay on hold, all right?
Well, let me tell you one thing. I am not on a message forum tonight because I'm traveling mobily from a family function. My wife is operating the vehicle.
Oh wow! All right, so hold on for 1 second, all right?
Would you like to interview her?
Absolutely. Give me a sec. I'm going to put you on hold, and I got to take a break.
Okay.
888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. That's 888-659-3727. Have to take a quick break. We will be right back after this brief message. Stay with us.
coast to coast and worldwide.
I just want to say, you guys are doing a great thing. It's such an uncomfortable topic to talk about, especially for a guy, young guys in their early 20s. And, I'm glad that, I could tune in and, listen to you guys.
Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick break. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free phone number. 888-659-3727. Great to be here. Easter Sunday, I am always working. Not that Easter means that much to me, because I'm a Jew. I guess it should mean something to me, right? But I certainly respect it for all my non-Jewish friends. 888-659-3727. All of you guys who went to church today to celebrate, I guess, the resurrection of Christ. I think that's it. I hope you're having a great day, a great Easter. Happy Easter to everybody. And for those of you who are hanging out for the Bald Truth on Easter Sunday, I appreciate it. I really do. 888-659-3727 is the phone number. I'll get back to Joe real quick. I think this is Joe, and then I'm going to take some phone calls. Joe, is that you?
Yeah, I have some news to report on, but my wife, I think, wants to get on, but I think she may trigger an FCC investigation. That's what she might say, so I better not put her on.
I wouldn't worry about the FCC. We don't have to worry about them, so she can say whatever she wants on the air.
No, I don't think you may people listen to the show worldwide. I want to hear what you have to say.
All right, I'll tell you what.
Would you like to wish Hello someone's happy Passover, happy Easter?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Here she is. Say happy Passover. Okay, you heard it briefly?
All right, Phyllis is not happy. Listen, guys, we're going to take a phone call. So you want to hold on?
All right, let me get the news here.
Yeah.
A little news.
All right, go ahead. Good.
First of all, to the millions of Hello sufferers, I want to wish you happy Easter and Passover, too. But the news I have to report on tonight. On April 3rd, Repsol had a press release. I'm sure everybody's buying the stock now, which is except for my wife, which is $2.25 a share. I told her by allergy 2 years ago. She wouldn't listen. Now she's ready to castigate me, which I'm sure will be $20 stock, within a couple of years. On April 3rd, they issued a press release that at the end of April they will have a major announcement on the efficacy of the Phase 1 critical trials of Repsol.
Right.
The Repsol treatment, which will be within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to have groundbreaking news. Do I know what it is? No, not like some other people on message forums have all this information. I don't have any information.
Well, look, Joe, we will be the guys to deliver this information to all of you. So I've already been in touch with everyone over at Repsol, and they plan on giving us the interview. We would have gotten something a little bit before, but I had a lot of guys bitching about it. They didn't care for the interview, before the information was out there. So I said, you know what, F it. If these guys don't want it, I'm not going to waste my time doing it.
No, I agree with you. You're better off to conduct your interview with Mr. Hall post the announcement in April.
I'd rather spend that time going out and having a nice meal, maybe getting drunk. If you guys don't want it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my time. That's how I feel at this point. Am I wrong?
No, you're right, because a lot of Hello sufferers are castigating you for having a free interview, and so
that's it. You know what? They ruined it for everybody else.
Well, tell them to go to the message forums where these guys have all the information already, supposedly. To me, they're all full of, what.
I don't know why Suncast didn't message me to let me know that my shirt was unbuttoned down to my belly button when I started the show. I would appreciate if somebody would let me know these things. Listen, Joe, I'm going to put you on hold, all right?
Well, let me say one more thing. I want to apologize to Tracy, Norwood, Suncast, and many other people in the chat room that I can't be on. I'm mobile right now, so I'm not in the chat room.
Well, you know what? If you brought your laptop and if you had 3G or you had like an iPad, you could have done it.
No, my laptop only works in my home where I have iOS. It
does
not work mobilely. I apologize for that.
We got to get you an iPad. So when you travel. All right, Joe, I'm going to put you on hold, all right?
I'm sorry about the background noise. You leave me fired up so I can listen to the show, please?
You got it.
Thank you, Spencer.
888-659-3727. Give us a call. Questions, concerns about your hair loss. This is your place to vent. This is your safe place. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer, it's Spex. How you doing?
Spex, how are you, man?
I'm really good, Spencer. I just thought I'd give you a quick bell. and catch up about a few things going down. How's everything with you? Happy Easter over there.
Thank you, man.
Everywhere.
Happy Easter to you too, bro, and happy
happy
Passover if you're Jewish.
It.
Yeah, I don't celebrate.
Well, my wife is, so yeah. But the
good for you, man.
Appreciate you.
Love the Jewish women.
You don't celebrate it.
So, I mean, is Dr. Feller supposed to be calling in? Because I can check to see if he's on one of these lines and see if I can pot you both out.
Yeah, I think he was intending to. I've not spoken to him I spoke to him yesterday. I'm sure he'll call in soon. He might even be listening in, and hopefully he'll hear our chat. Can you hear me okay? I've got a bit of an echo, but are you all right hearing me?
You're perfect, man. I mean, a little echoey, but it's fine. So what's happening? I know that you have some really big news. You kind of, I guess you're involved or somehow met. What is his name? Morgan, I can never pronounce his name. Spurlock?
Morgan Spurlock.
Spurlock,
yeah. I mean, we recently been involved or got asked to be part of his new upcoming movie called Mansome. Now, it's a great pleasure to be asked to be involved with it.
Sure.
I met Morgan several months ago, and he was kind of really fascinated by the whole hair transplant industry.
Well, he's a big time hair loss sufferer himself. I mean, it's very obvious. I'm sure it's nothing. This isn't news to him if he hears this.
Oh, it's no news to him at all. I mean, God, he rolls around in circles with guys getting hair transplants. Sure, it's certainly nothing. It's not on his radar personally.
Right.
But however, he's fascinated with everything that's different, and certainly a hidden epidemic such as hair loss and hair transplants. And we met, had several beers, and he was very kind of intrigued as to my story and how I helped.
Let me cut you off for a second, Spex. How did you guys meet? How did you meet this cat?
Just through a friend, through a mutual friend. We were in London, and he goes, "Oh, buddy, you've got to come and meet Morgan Spurlock." And initially, I was like, "Morgan Spurlock? I know that name, but who is it?" And of course, he's kind of you do a quick Google search, and he's pretty iconic. I mean, he's well-known face for obviously the Supersize movie, and he scratched the surface.
And he has his own television show now, or I think it's still on there.
He has his own TV show in the UK. That's kind of why I met him. He was over here in the UK filming. And, oh man, he's a great guy. Funny, quick guy. Yeah. And obviously he was... it's a very long story short. We got talking about hair transplants. He personally wasn't interested. That's not why we met. It was a real kind of chance meeting, and we got talking about my kind of involvement, and kind of then he propositioned me as like, "Oh man, I'm making this movie on male grooming. There's loads of people involved. Would you be interested in being a part of it?" And at the time, I was like, "Yes, that's fantastic.
Of course,
great." 8 or 9 beers in, and didn't hear anything much. Yeah, I'd have agreed to anything at that point. Thank God my wife didn't bail me asking me for money. But he was essentially just looking for content for his film. His film, Mansome, is out next month, and he's heavily involved in several projects. He spins like 100 plates at once. And at this point, when I had spoken to him originally about it, and he said, "Oh, do you want to be part of this movie?" I was like, great. Didn't know anything about the movie at all, but I thought, obviously, if he's involved with it, it will be reaching a lot of people, potentially. So,
are you kidding me, man? If you even have 10 seconds in that movie, you will be on HBO for the rest of your life.
Well, this is it. We were asked, we had a whole day's film, to cut to the chase, we had a whole day's filming with Morgan, several months on from our original kind of conversation in London. Dr. Feller was involved. We were both interviewed. He got to see a fantastic kind of post-op patient, kind of 18 months post-op. His crew interviewed Dr. Feller, interviewed me. It was great.
Well, this is what I like about this happening. Sadly, what we usually see in the media are the guys that aren't doing great work. Some publicists. Somebody gets a hold of some press release, and some assistant producer of the assistant's producer contacts these people because they think they're experts, and these are the people they usually include in these types of series or these types of documentaries. It's incredible, and it is, I guess, it's serendipity that you guys met, and he was able to get you in there and a guy like Dr. Feller involved, because
Well,
now at least
indeed,
people
but
are going to
you know
know what
what?
the reality is.
Well, let's hope. The thing is, we don't know if we're going to be involved. The whole film, if we are, brilliant. If we're not, no worries. It was a great experience to be involved with him. Met him, several times. Now, I even met his mum. We were out for drinks in London recently. There's that picture that I put on your forum, me and him again. I had a few. Can you gather we like a beer or two?
Absolutely.
We had a few beers, and he's such a great guy. So it was fantastic to have met him, be involved with it. If we get in, fantastic. We'll probably even get 10, 30 seconds, but so we won't really be able to, people won't really be able to comprehend the whole day's filming and how fortunate they were to have somebody like Dr. Feller on camera.
Absolutely.
But we're just hoping if we are used, if it's in the right context, all you need to do is spend a few minutes on Google and you have a look. And these guys that are involved in the film, they're all comedy actors. Is that Zach Galifianakis, the guy off The Hangover?
Yeah,
with the
he's
big
awesome.
Beard.
Yeah, that guy is he's like a gorilla.
He's a genius.
He's got so much. He's got hair growing from everywhere, man.
He has indeed. But there's guys like Jason Bateman, who's great. There's who else is in it? They even interviewed somebody from ZZ Top. So there's Paul Rudd. The guy, the actor. So it's a kind of comedic look at male grooming generally.
Sure.
So it's not specifically about hair transplants, the hair transplant industry.
Yeah, but the thing is, Spex, hair is such a vital part of our grooming. What do we have? We have our hair. We can maybe grow a beard or shave it. That's it. We got nothing else. That's all we have to work with as guys.
I hear you.
So I think it's a very. I hope that they include a lot of it. I hope they give you at least a couple of minutes, because that would really.
So do I. But I do know also. He also interviewed. He went around, Hair Club for Men, and he also interviewed.
Yeah, of course.
Quite eccentric, big name like that. But at the end of the day, is an accurate message going to get relayed to the public?
That's the problem, Spex. That's what we're always expecting. We're always expecting the hair clubs and some of the large chain hair transplant clinics. It's unusual that you guys got yourselves in there. Now, it depends. Certain news pieces, if you send out your own press releases, if you have your own PR people, maybe you can get yourself in one of these pieces. But this is so much, in my view, so much more powerful if, in fact, you guys have some good airtime. Because, like I said, and I spoke to Dr. Feller about this, he may have actually said this, if you're in there, you will be on HBO for like 10 years.
I know. But it's funny as well. It's funny as well to have had exactly, you hit the nail on the head, it was serendipity, a real chance meeting. And if it works, fantastic. And if we accurately get, we're allowed that kind of time to just get that message out, inform people that didn't already know, God, that's actually how it's done,
Yeah.
And it's just something that, we were asked a lot of questions. We answered them very honestly, very directly. We didn't kind of sensationalize it. We were solely, providing our time to really help get the information out there so that guys that don't know much about hair transplants or have had hair transplants who are a little bit in the dark get some really, for once, when you watch these things, for once, some accurate, really good, solid information. And it will be brilliant if we get even 10 seconds. If we don't, like we say, it's been a great experience to be part of it all. And we just wanted everybody to know, as a bit of fun as well for the forums, hey, check this out, we've been involved in this. Can you believe it? Let's hope it works for us.
I think it's awesome. And, for some of the naysayers in the chat room, are you watching the program right now? By the way, Spex?
No, I'm not.
There's some guys in the chat room who, for some reason, don't understand the significance of this, and they think, they're putting like Z's, like they're bored. Guys, you need to understand how important this is for our field and for anyone considering hair transplantation. And I guess I get a little irate when I see this stuff being written, especially when you're taking the time, Spex, to come here, do what you do for so many hair loss sufferers, and, people are just being rude in the chat room. So,
buddy, on the forum, you mean, or is it on a
no,
live
actually,
stream?
it's a live chat on my show. Go to thebaldtruth.com and watch live, and we have a chat going on.
Hey, buddy, you can't please everybody all the time.
Dude, tell me about it, man. That's the story of my life.
Yeah, buddy, it's funny. I'm sorry we're boring those guys, but for us, and, for you, and people either get it or they don't. Morgan Spurlock, come on. The guy is well known for various documentaries, and the guy's putting together a fantastic movie, and potentially we're going to be involved in it.
Spex,
and
you know what I say?
Potentially
this is what I say. Fuck them. That's it. You're doing great things. You're helping a lot of people. What you're going to be able to do, crossing over to the mainstream, anytime I've been lucky enough to be in a documentary or to be on interviewed by 2020 or Good Morning America or whatever, getting into that realm of mainstream media is so different than just focusing on the hyper concerned that kind of are involved in our world in the message forums. There's a totally different group of people who have no idea how they can be helped, who have no idea what really is out there, and they think that if you're losing your hair, you need to go to the hair club or that you go to one of the large chain clinics. Having the opportunity to do what you're doing and allowing guys to see great doctors like Dr. Feller, to me, it's monumental. So I'm proud of you, man. I really am.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. It's great. No, we appreciate that over, we've all seen for all the years, even the people that are heavily involved in the industry, how often do you actually see in any form of media, newspaper, radio, TV, film, any accurate information on hair restoration and hair loss?
You don't.
Rarely, and it's frustrating. So for us, it was like it's a great opportunity to get heard, to get heard on that size platform via somebody so iconic as Morgan Spurlock. It's just
if Morgan ever wants to come on the program, let him know. I'd love to have him on, and we can actually maybe do something via Skype so people can see him and see his hair, and you can talk about it and. Maybe promote the movie a little bit. Not that he needs me to promote his movie.
Anybody that's bored in those chat rooms, anybody that's bored in the chat room, anybody that's listening, just go and Google Morgan Spurlock, just Google him, and then the penny will drop, potentially, hopefully.
Don't worry, embrace your haters, man. That's what I've learned to do in the last 14 years.
You're preaching to the converted, buddy. But, from your lips to God's ears, as the old Jewish saying goes.
That's right.
It's water off the duck's back for me, mate. I've been hated for years on the forums for doing what? Helping people. Go figure. You can't win them all.
I hear you.
I will, if we get in the movie and we're involved for whatever, we're invited, if we get in, to go to the premiere and meet some people, and it'll be a fantastic experience. If we do get in, then I'll obviously speak to Morgan about getting him on the show, and I'm sure he'd love to give you a bell and have a good chat, and I'll brief him more on you, and God, he'd love to have a chat with you guys.
Absolutely. Maybe we could have a premiere after party with our guys from the GFQ network in New York. Maybe we can do something like Sapphire Strip Club or something.
Oh, it sounds good. I'm in. But I'm sure Morgan would love it, man. Any opportunity.
I'm just trying to get Dr. Feller out of the house. That's what I'm trying to do.
He rarely leaves the house, but he's a machine. He just gets up, goes to work, goes home, and goes to bed. I think he needs about 6 hours sleep, and then he's back ready to go again.
Well, you know what? We have a full board. He may be on the line, so I'm gonna hang up on you. Thank you so much for calling, man. Congratulations, Mazel Tov. I think it's great, and you know what? Embrace the haters, bro. Like I keep telling you.
Hey, don't worry, mate. Thanks for having me on the show, buddy, and I'm sure we'll speak soon. Take care, buddy. I'll keep you in the loop.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
Bye, man. Bye.
Take care. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. I'm going to take another phone call. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Good evening, Spencer. It's Dr. Feller.
Dr. Alan Feller, IHRS accepted member and friend of the Bald Truth. How are you, man?
Good, and happy Passover to you and yours.
Thank you. Good Pesach.
All right, good Pesach.
So what's going on? Obviously, that you heard what Spex had to say. I got to tell you, and I spoke to you about this on the phone when you let me know. This is monumental. This is a really big deal. This isn't just a one-time. If you're in a documentary like this, it's not just like, oh, you're on 2020, which is great, or you're in some sort of like Dateline or news piece. This is the type of stuff that is replayed for a decade.
Oh yeah, I figured this would be a nice window, a big transparent window into how hair transplantation should be done today. And I had no real preparation time. I think I had found out 4 or 5 days before they were going to come in and film that they wanted to do this. But luckily, all the planets lined up. It so happened the patient who was coming in for a second procedure, so they could actually see somebody who'd been through a procedure already and grown out. I think he was 18 months.
Right.
Spex would probably remember better than I. I guess he's off the line.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it was good for them to see somebody who had had it done. And hey, thankfully the guy grew beautifully. You know?
Yeah. Well.
And
yeah. That would have been a disaster, man.
Hey, well, look, it's hair transplantation. It's very physiological dependent, so not everybody's going to grow exactly the same.
Right.
But most people grow to a cosmetically significant level and beyond, and it was no exception with this patient. So thankfully it was a good one for the cameras.
Yeah.
And he had a good attitude, and I was able to show how we do the surgery, how we plan it out. And I'm a fan of some of these reality shows because you can... you know, I don't usually have time to watch entire shows, but I'll watch some of the reality shows like catch a little bit of Jersey Shore or Mob Wise, that sort of thing.
Dude, Mob Wise, that's my favorite, man.
Isn't that incredible?
I love Mob. I will, you know, if I have to not watch some of the other shows during the week, if I have to catch one thing on television, forget about the news, it's going to be Mob Wise. I'm addicted.
Yeah, there's something about that show. I always wondered, how did they ignore the camera? You know, were they just playing to the camera? Were they acting?
It's wild, man.
Well, when they had come in, first of all, this is a full crew. I think there was 5 people in this crew. I'd never been exposed to anything like this in the past. And we had audio people there and mic people and, you know, camera person. And they mic us up. They give us something about the size of a cigarette pack. And you shove it into your waistband, and then they run up a microphone under your shirt.
Yeah.
And then wherever you walk in the office, they're recording you.
Right.
And I thought that might be very intrusive because now I really did have to buckle down and do a procedure. But after a few minutes, you don't even notice the camera or the microphone anymore. You just sort of do your thing. And so now when I watch these shows, now I understand how they really are acting like themselves. In the beginning, you're a little bit cognizant of it, but it doesn't take long for you to just tune it out. And I was wondering if during the procedure it would affect my ability to operate. And I found out it didn't make any difference whatsoever, whether they were there or not, as long as they didn't get in my way.
Right. Well, I think having that opportunity and doing it the way that you guys are doing it, you know, some guys in the chat room were bitching about, like, why is this important? It's really important. It's a really important thing because hair transplantation is never, in my view, portrayed the way that it really should be portrayed. No one really understands the entire scope and pitfall. It's not put out there the way that, you know, we do it day in and day out through the message forums and here on The Bald Truth. And, you know, the way that you educate your patients, having that ability to do it in this, you know, on this type of a huge platform, it's amazing. And I really hope that you get some good airtime. I hope they don't decide to just cut you out or just to, you know, mention hair transplantation briefly because, like I told Spex, I mean, hair's everything we got. We have nothing else to work with as guys. You can gain weight, you can work out, you can lose weight, you know, we can't wear makeup, we can't wear push-up bras, we can't do anything else like women can do to phony themselves up. All we have is our hair, or we don't have our hair, and that's it.
Yeah, men don't have control over hair loss, and that becomes a real source of frustration,
that's
psychological pressure. But thankfully, with modern-day hair transplant techniques, it's a very realistic option.
Well, I think a lot of people will be helped by this if they, you know, keep you in there, and I hope that they do. And you know what? If I you end up getting in there, and I end up going to the premiere with you guys, I'm going to take you to this club. I got to get you out of the house. I work with these guys, with this guy Chauncey Hayden through the GFQ network. He does a show at a Sapphire strip club, and you know we can work something out. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So.
All right, man. Listen. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Have a good show.
All right. Dr. Alan Feller, IHRS accepted hair transplant surgeon, probably one of the best, not probably, he is, in my view, one of the best hair transplant surgeons in the world, has an incredible, stellar reputation, and has helped a lot of people. And he's a good guy. So I hope things work out for those guys. 888-659-3727. Let me pot up Joe and then I'll take some more calls. Joe, you there?
Yeah, that was very interesting listening to Dr. Fellis speak. I wish I'd gotten the opportunity to interview him.
Well, when you want him, I can have him on the show next week. What do you want to talk to him about?
Well, what he thinks about the upcoming, the upcoming treatments. And I know, as you know, he examined me, and he felt my case was pretty good. He could have helped me somewhat.
Well, yeah, I mean, but so when you saw him, what was your impression of Dr. Feller as far as his bedside manner? And
I thought he was very nice, very intelligent, very caring. I kind of got the impression he thinks I, negatively exaggerated my situation where it was, not as precarious as he thought.
Well, I think he thinks that. He may think you're a little nutty, but, he's an honest guy, and he's a good guy, and I think he's one of the few guys that really, he's so good at what he does. Like, he can basically, he's kind of like, and again, I'm really stroking him here, but it's kind of like when Babe Ruth, pointed to hit a home run. He kind of knows that. The guy's got such good instincts when it comes to choosing, patients and telling them what he believes he can do for them. I mean, very, very few people are unhappy with Dr. Feller's work, and I would tell you that most guys are they're just overwhelmed by the end result. So I think that if you decide to get any work done, he would definitely be a good choice, Joe.
Yeah, he felt that my hair wasn't as bad as it make it out to be. That I could have, with a couple thousand more grafts, I could have helped significantly. That I tend to exaggerate my situation. That was the impression that he gave me, and I think he told you the same thing.
He did, and I think that you tend to exaggerate the severity of the situation, not the severity of how you feel about your situation, but that you're so hopeless as far as the amount of hair you have and what was done to you. You may be hopeless in the fact that you will never have a full head of hair again, and with that said, you will not be happy unless you do. That I get, but as far as your disfigurement, at least the guys that I've spoken with who've seen you, they're like, it's really not that bad.
I saw his face. You could tell right away from someone's facial expression what they think immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Did he cower in fear?
No, he's a little surprised. He thought, I exaggerate my situation. That I have a lot more head than he thought.
If someone says, hook up Joe with a hair transplant, don't worry, dude. Joe is hooked up. Whatever he wants, I've been telling him that for the last 14 years. He just has to make a move.
But never say I never have a full head of hair, because you never know what's coming down the pipe.
No. You will. I should say you will never have a full head of hair with conventional hair transplantation.
Well, never with anybody, really.
That's right.
Now, could you explain a little bit to me? I'm a little confused about one thing. What is exactly is the significance of this new movie as Spex was speaking? I'm very confused.
Well, Morgan Spurlock is an extremely famous documentarian and television personality. If you saw Super Size Me, that was really what put Morgan on the map. So in order to get into a mainstream documentary where this is the type of this is a documentary that's seen in theaters and then put out there on cable forever is huge. I've been in documentaries, and I've been on years ago on a Discovery Channel documentary, and I just did a documentary for the BBC, and that's all great. That's well and good, and it's seen over and over again. But this is more of a mainstream theatrical opening type of event, where it's actually seen in major theaters across the country, and then it's replayed on cable forever. So if you can get yourself in there, and if they're able to get their message out there the way that they hope to, I think that it's monumental, because it's going to give the mainstream public, not the guys that are just, looking at our resources, but people who never even knew about the Bald Truth or Bald Truth Talk, or haven't really, they're not quite as obsessed as some of the other guys out there. They're not doing their research. They may be considering, I'm just going to go to the hair club, or I'm just going to go to one of these large chain clinics and get something done. They're going to have the opportunity to see this and say, wait a second, who's this guy? And what are they talking about? This is unique. I've never seen this before. I didn't realize this type of surgery existed. So that's what's exciting about it. And for those of you who don't get that, you don't see the big picture.
Well, I don't know what's going on in the chat room, because I'm not in front of a computer, so,
Yeah. I'm just buzzed. I love the chatters. I think they can say whatever they want to say. They can say whatever they want to say about me, and they do. But that's what's great about this. It's a free country. You know what I mean? They have their opinion. They can state their opinion. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't affect me in any way. And it shouldn't affect, it doesn't affect Spex or anybody else. We do what we do because we believe in what we do. I do the best job that I can. Spex does the best job that he can. Alan Feller and other members of my organization do a great job, the best that they can. You can't please everybody all the time, Joe.
No, I definitely understand that. Will you be attending the premiere of this movie with Dr. Feller?
I was invited, so there's a possibility. I'll see. I don't think he wants to go to the strip club with me. I think he doesn't want to cross that line, that professional line, and I get that, dude. Dr. Feller, if you're watching, I understand that. I don't know if I'd want to go to a strip club with him either, to tell you the truth.
Well, let me tell you, any hair loss sufferers interesting. Any of hair loss sufferers in the New York area who are listening, Dr. Feller has great bedside manner. He's caring, and if you're interested, go to see him in his Northern Boulevard Great Neck office. He's really a caring individual. That I have to say.
Well, I agree. I agree 100%.
He wasn't like another doctor. I won't mention his name. I thought it was who was going to bomb me. I mean, that's what he made me feel after speaking with him.
Yeah.
I thought the cat was going to bomb me. You know what I mean? Well, that conversation.
Well, listen, I'm going to put you on hold, dude. All right.
Well, can I say one thing quickly? It's one more quick piece of news. I know I'm mobile. You can't really pod me up. I have some news on Cosmos Pharmaceuticals. They pay $25 million to American. I can't name the pharmaceutical company at this point for the licensing on the CB301 drug. It's an anti-androgen, which should be applied topically for acne, but can be used as an adjunct on a scalp for hair loss sufferers and malpattern andronic alopecia. I don't know if you're aware of that.
You know what? No. I was not aware of that because part of what you said I really couldn't understand.
Well, Cosmo Pharmaceuticals of Italy are partnering up with American Pharmaceutical Corporation this week, April the 5th. They paid a $25 million licensing fee to have their product brought through FDA approval for acne. It's a topical anti-androgen.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Which can be used for hair loss sufferers on the scalp.
That's great, man. That's awesome news. It's, just another tool in our arsenal, we hope.
Yes.
All right, bro. Do you want to hold on? Are you still in the car?
Yes, I'm still in the car. My lovely wife is driving tonight.
She must think you are out of your effing mind.
I wanted to address the audience, but I think the FCC, which will be contacting you tomorrow if there are comments.
No, don't worry about it. I'm not under the auspices of the FCC, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
All right, man. Hold on. If that's the right word. I don't even know if that's the right word. I doubt it. Hold on. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer. This is Vic.
Vic.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
You sound familiar. I should know who you are because I think I've heard you before, but...
Yeah, Vic from DC.
Hey, man. So what's up?
Hey, not much. I just had a few questions for you. Basically, I was just wondering what your opinion is on who you think is the best FUE doctor in the United States.
That's tough, man. You're putting my back against the wall, bro.
Well, if you could just name one or two, maybe.
Well, I will tell you who I think has the most experience and who seems to have some really good results. I know that John Cole has a tremendous amount of experience, and that's all he does. And his work is really good. I know right now Alan Bauman has been concentrating on FUE. Basically, that's what he's doing most, and his patients are coming back with really good results. Alan Feller, who was just on the air, I mean, one of the pioneers of FUE, does a lot of FUE. I don't think I've ever had a complaint about one of his FUE patients. God, I mean, I can't tell. I will tell you this. Bob Bernstein, who actually wrote the first paper for FUE, is now kind of transitioning over to the artist system. He's a big believer, and I actually just interviewed him about that, and I'll get the interview up online shortly. He believes that this is a superior technique using this robotic device, and so does James Harris. So, dude, I can't tell you who's best because these guys are all good, with equal, in my view, with equally impressive results. I mean, James Harris, he actually invented the safe system. He worked with the artist guys, Restoration Robots, to create this artist system, and he's getting really good results. But he's not doing as many FUEs as, say, John Cole in Atlanta. John Cole has just completely abandoned the strip procedure because he believes that his CIT or FUE procedure is his superior procedure.
Now you always tell everyone on air to do their due diligence.
Correct.
And after doing some research, I mean, I even looked at Dr. I think Feller, was it? Yeah, Feller's website. He while he does FUE, I think he wrote something about how after the follicular unit is extracted, that area actually hardens up, and it actually results in more scarring than a FUT.
He calls it a confluence of scarring, which is actually a very good way to explain it. And I do believe that in some cases, probably most cases, that if you extract enough grafts close enough together, that you will have a confluence of scarring. And while it may not be incredibly noticeable, even if you shave down, the area around the excised graft will kind of harden and become fibrotic. And it could be microscopic, but that could, kind of inhibit further extraction. And who knows if it's going to cause any type of difference in the integrity of your scalp in the long run. So I think there's something to what he's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that note, also, I think one more question I had. Now, whenever people call in and ask you about shock loss, it's usually concerned about the recipient area. But can shock loss also occur in the donor area? For example, if the instrument they're using to take out the follicular unit somehow ends up going into surrounding hair follicles.
That's a great point, and that does happen, and I've seen it on more than one occasion. So I've also seen that with conventional strip procedures. That's pretty rare, but I've seen it. It really depends on your physiology, and I think it depends on also how skilled the surgeon is, but some of it's just luck. Surgeon could do 1,000 procedures, and the one procedure out of 1,000, he's going to have shock loss in the donor area. It's always a possibility, man. So I tell anyone who's doing their due diligence, who's considering having surgery, to understand the entire scope and possible pitfalls and be prepared for the worst. Always hope for the best, but if you're going in, be prepared for shock loss. Be prepared for shock loss in the recipient and the donor area. If you're getting a strip, be prepared for stretched scarring. For a large, you're hoping for the best, and in the most cases, these guys have stellar outcomes. But there's always the one guy who thinks he's been effed up, when in fact, it wasn't necessarily the fault of the surgeon. It could have been that day. It could have been just your physiology. There's so many factors involved in cosmetic surgery. And I feel bad for both, obviously, the patients who believe they were harmed, and some of the good doctors who are kind of, put out there online, and their reputations are destroyed because one unhappy patient goes out there and thinks that the doctor they went to was a butcher, when in fact it was just, the nature of cosmetic surgery. Now, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of butchers out there. But, I just think that everyone needs to be fully prepared when they go under the knife, because whether it's FUE or strip, there's always a possibility of complications. And if you're that guy that has the complications, you're going to be pretty unhappy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know I've been following your show every Sunday for the past 4 years, and I know you've been on Propecia for I want to say 17 years.
Yeah.
And I have a hypothetical question. If all of a sudden you decided to stop Propecia today, how long would it take you before, say, you saw some noticeable results? Like, the thing is that, like, I've been doing some research on just genetics, and they say, and they did I forget the exact test. They said if a person, basically, diet plays a huge role in actually sometimes reversing the role of genetics.
Right.
If you've been taking Propecia for so long, do you think that perhaps your hair follicles have been affected to the point where they're almost not susceptible to hair loss, in the sense that, let's say,
I know what you're saying, and I think that's an interesting concept that I would hope would be true. That would be awesome if I ever had to get off this drug. I am not willing to take that risk, but I guess can't speak. I guess anything's possible.
Oh yeah.
I definitely believe that by changing your diet, keeping your hormones at bay the way that I have for so long, we do know that if you start to take steroids at a young age, or any age, but if you take it at a young age and continue to use anabolics for guys that use it for a decade, even at a young age, if they stop using it at 30, it's very difficult for their bodies to begin producing testosterone normally again. And when you're older, that happens a lot. I mean, guys who start human growth hormone and testosterone will never produce the same levels on their own as then when they started taking the synthetics. So is it possible that since I've been on this for 17 years that my body will continue to have lower DHT, or I won't be producing as much DHT naturally? I don't know. I mean, I guess theoretically, yeah, it can definitely happen.
That would be amazing. And well, I mean,
I'm not stopping on finasteride, so
definitely.
We're never going to find out.
Oh well, I would never tell you to. I was just like, I think that since you take a 5 milligram pill, I mean, I think even if I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying even if you went down to maybe once a week, I think you'd probably still be able to keep all your hair.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
Well, I actually do take it, sometimes only twice a week or 3 times a week. It really depends. I really do it intermittently. It's kind of like when I remember to take it, I take it. So I don't take 5 milligrams every day, 7 days a week. I take it probably closer to 3 or 4 days a week on average.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Well, hey, thanks for taking my call. And
oh, you got it, man. You had some really good questions. Thank you so much for calling, Vic.
And your video feed is amazing, especially this new angle with the 45 degree.
You like it, huh?
view.
Thanks, man.
It's really good. And hey, if you ever did decide to shave your head, you would not look like a guy from the future. You'd look good.
Well, that's very nice of you, man. I appreciate that. I wish I could feel that way because you know what? I'd be out of here, mother effers. I'd be gone. All right, bro. Listen, thanks for the call.
Okay.
All right, take care. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. Let's take another phone call, and then I'm going to take a break. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer. I have to castigate Joe. He mentioned everybody that he missed in the chat room but me.
Oh,
so
man.
I hope Phyllis hides all the pork chops, the lamb chops, and the steaks, and she just buys nothing but salad for him. And I have to respond to some of the criticism about Spex that was in the room. Spex is probably one of the most respected spokesmen for the hair loss community and hair transplants, just like Joe Tronics from Hasson Wong. And Dr. Feller is world-class in his work. So those folks that were in the chat room making some comments about him, I have to say Spex, I respect his writings and the things he has to say.
I see guys on my message forum saying that Spex is just like a shill or he's in it for the money. Listen, everyone who's in the industry is working. They're making money doing, but he's making money doing something good. I just don't understand why people can't understand that concept.
Well, he works for 2 great doctors. I think he also works for Dr. Lindsay.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, who I think is, just a great human being, especially some of the things he's going through in his personal life with his daughter. But Spex, in my opinion, is one of the most well-respected people in the hair loss community. And
I agree, man.
And this thing with Morgan Spurlock, this is groundbreaking. People don't realize. I mean, if you've ever watched current TV, they replay those documentaries over and over. This is just nothing but great press for this community. People, you don't realize that this may be something that may bring this back into the mainstream. It may not be something just those of us that are on the internet or, that follow this.
Well, that's the thing. It's the hypersensitive guys, the hyper-obsessed guys that are on the message forums. And listen, I'm one of them. Again, I say this, and I lump myself into the same category. That's why I do what I do. But we are the minority as far as hair loss sufferers. And we know that hair loss sufferers make up the majority of men, basically of humankind. And 40% of hair loss sufferers are women, but they're not coming to the message forums. I am not getting 50 million hits a day to our message forum. So we have to somehow get this information out there through the mainstream as well. And any opportunity that we get is a great opportunity. And I'm so sorry that some of the guys in the chat room are bored when, by Spex announcing this and talking about it. But, it is what it is. You guys talk amongst yourselves until he's done, and let the guys who are interested enjoy the conversation. And that's it.
This guy has helped a lot of people. He really has. I got a lot of respect for him. So,
well, what I respect most about the guy, one of the things I respect is that he is a guy that, he was losing it bad, and he found his way back through good hair transplantation. And he's willing to share. He's willing to share that story with people.
There are those of us that just want to basically get it done, be very anonymous. He, Joe Tronics, and others have put themselves out there. They're actually media guinea pigs when it comes to hair transplant.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, there's very few people who are willing to admit they paint their head on the air too. So I'm gonna
exactly. And you also.
I'm just screwing.
But it's the truth though. There's how many people want to put themselves out there? Not very many. They want to get things done, but they don't want to put themselves out. These guys are like trailblazers.
Dude, we might as well be doing the small penis show. It's that level of embarrassment for guys. You know what I mean?
It is.
So.
I hope to leave on a more upbeat note. I hope that Phyllis gets on the phone and we could talk to her a little bit. That would be very interesting. And
I think so too.
If Spex can talk to Mr. Spurlock, maybe we can get some sort of documentary or sitcom that he could possibly produce. The Joe from Staten Island show.
I just think having Joe in a documentary, I think that, maybe we can get Morgan to do like a short documentary, like 15, 20 minute, half an hour documentary about Joe. It would just be called Joe from Staten Island. That's it. That's all we need. We don't need any fancy titles.
There's a gentleman in the room, or it could be a lady. I'm assuming it's a gentleman. Keeps asking about further treatments. They keep, and I keep telling them, I'm like, trust Spencer. If there's something that comes along that needs to be discussed, he's not going to hesitate. He'll deliver. Look, I don't understand what they mean by future treatment. So
we give as much information as we can, and you know what the rest of the program is about? It's about a bunch of hair loss sufferers bullshitting about their lives and trying to make sense of all this and talking to other people and guiding them in a safe direction. Callers who call in who are either new to the show or maybe they've been listening to the program for years and they just want to call in to vent. That's what this place is for. I wish I had news every day, every week for you guys, but we don't.
I'm like, let's get Replacel interview, ask about possible allergens and what was a histogen. Folks, if you can hear me, I'm sure you can. Spencer will deliver when the time comes. Trust me, he will deliver.
Well, I think it is. I get it. A lot of the younger guys, they want to know what's going on now. They don't kind of. Yeah. You guys have been around for a long time. You understand the way the broadcast works and really what it's about and what it's for. I understand that when I see these guys in the chat room and they seem a little frustrated. I get it. I wish I can say, hey, you know what? Future treatment's here. Bing, bing, bing. This is what you do. You got 5 years left, and it's all over. I want to be able to say that.
Well, there's some of us that have been butchered by doctors, like this one gentleman was telling me, or wrote in that he had a bad scalp production. Right. I feel for him. I know what some of these guys are going through. It's like you're sitting on the edge of your seat, waiting for the next shoe to drop, but. I've also learned, too, that you have to be patient. If I'd have used a little bit more patience, had a little bit more information, I may not be in the situation that I'm in right now. But it is what it is, and we got to deal with it. But, folks, trust me, Spencer will deliver when the time comes, and it's the timing needs to be right.
Listen, Johnny, I appreciate the kind words, and I always appreciate you calling. I'm going to take a break, man.
Okay, hey, Joe, if you hear me, man, I'm really got to castigate you next week if you're on the air.
Go battle out. Go battle out in the chat. All right.
Well, he's not in here.
All right.
All right, later.
All right, later. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. I have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be taking your phone calls. This is the Hair Loss Show, self-help radio for guys, and sadly for girls who get it. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The winner of 7 prestigious Golden Forehead Awards.
My family's always arguing. It always starts off innocent, and then it gets vicious right away. So I was like, hey, looks like you're losing some hair. At least my wife's not a whore.
Spencer David Kobren.
I know she said.
Hey guys, welcome back. Phone number 888-659-3727. Welcome back to the broadcast, live from Los Angeles. I'm Spencer Kobren, and you are listening to and watching The Bald Truth, self-help radio for guys. And look, if you may be listening on iTunes Radio or Stitcher Radio, watching us on Stickam or Ustream or through gfqlive.tv or through thebaldtruth.com. Realize that we are internationally syndicated by the GFQ network. I want to thank the guys from Queens, Andrew Zarian, and the crew, Suncast, for making this all possible for hair loss sufferers around the globe. And it's exciting. Working on the production a little bit more, as you guys have noticed, and I appreciate the well wishes and the kind words that you guys are IMing me. Thank you very much. And to answer your questions, the guy that just sent me a private message, yes, I do all the production myself. Everything. From audio to the switching of the cameras, to the lighting, to setting everything up, to building the studio. It's mine. Now, I have to thank Andrew Zarian for building my new rig, my computer that is powerful system that's running this operation. But, this is what we do. And we're trying to up the quality as much as possible and, just tweak things every week. So thanks for noticing, guys. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. I will pot Joe back up. You guys feel free to give us a call, 888-659-3727. Here to answer your questions, talk about hair loss, talk about your concerns, talk about anything related to hair loss. And if you just need to vent, give me a call, 888-659-3727. Joe, are you still in the car?
Yes, but I'm still in the car hitting a lot of traffic. I'm sorry for you, explain to you and your producers, but I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that Johnny from Ohio is going to castigate me next week for being mobile this week.
Well, I don't think that's why he's castigating you. I think he's just, upset that you didn't say hello to him in the chat room. That's all.
Oh, he's castigating us to say hello to him in the chat room. If you don't mind, let me see the record trade or something on the one episode announcement. This comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's do it.
A lot of hair loss sufferers on the forums, and I'll mention any names. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He's a Marvel Comics. He's his pseudonym. He's saying that if you had a prior hair transplant, that Reposol will not work. This is not true, because Reposol not only stimulates dormant hair follicles, it also creates new hair follicles. So this guy is totally off the wall. I mean, I don't know who the hell pays him or who is that.
Nobody pays him. This is a guy that spends a lot of time on the forums because this is what he enjoys doing. He believes what he believes, and you have to understand that it creates traffic. The guys that will tolerate whatever's going on with certain guys online, they do it because it creates traffic. That's it. It's not necessarily about what's I'm not going to say genuine, because he genuinely believes what he's saying. I do not believe this is a guy that is a paid poster. I just believe he's a guy who's really into what he's doing. He loves posting on the message forums.
But I've never seen a cat say one thing positive. He denigrates Hisson, Folger, Adirans, Allergan, Cosmo Pharmaceuticals. The list goes on.
Right.
The guy has never anything positive to say. I mean, I personally think he suffers some form of psychosis, to be honest with you.
Well, it's very possible. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I will tell you, I'm looking at the chat room. One guy just posted that I should be calling your show, Joe. So maybe one day when you have a show, you'll allow me to call. I guess that's a compliment.
You think I should have my own show, man?
I think you can do whatever you want to do, man. I think that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, Joe. I think that you have talent. I think that you have a likability factor. Why do you think that I've allowed you to call the show for 14 years? And why do you think that I've created an opening for you and gave you a part of this broadcast just because I like you? Nothing to do with it, dude. Joe from Staten Island is money. That's it. You know, when I was doing the show out of Westwood One, I would have these guys, these radio guys, tell me that why do you have this Joe calling in all the time? It's the same shit. You know, he talks about the same depressing stuff. You got to get rid of him. And I'm like, listen, the guy's money. He has his own fan base. I am not getting rid of him. He is one of my whack packers, and he is an important part of the broadcast. So, you know, these are guys that were supposedly program directors and people who were, influencers in the radio industry. They all said to get rid of you. But you know what? I listened to my instinct, and people love you, and they think they should have your own show.
Well, I appreciate that. Did you think I should have my own, one of your producers, Andrew Zarian, was saying I should have my own reality show. What do you think about that?
I think that he said that you should have, at first, let's see if we can get your documentary. I think the reality show would be, it might be a little boring because you spend most of your time in bed. I think maybe we should follow your family. Based around the fact that you're in bed and all that stuff. You can follow your family, your kids. Are they listening? Can you hear this?
Yeah, they're listening because I have it on a little up.
Yeah, well, I like to follow Phyllis and see what's going on in her life to having to deal with your shit. That's what I like to see.
Tell him he doesn't want to know.
No, she said.
Come on, Phyllis. Get Phyllis on the air. Put her on the phone. Come on, Phyllis. Everyone wants to talk to you.
Put her on briefly?
Tell him my life.
Oh, put you on briefly.
Well, put her on speaker. You guys could all talk together. What does she say?
Hey.
No, I don't want to say
Say hi to the audience. Happy Easter.
Oh, my God,
Just say hi to the audience. My daughter's castigating me. She doesn't want to put her mother on the phone.
I don't want to hear it.
Hello?
Yeah, your poor family. Joe, your poor family. I don't even know how they deal with it.
Well.
That's right. You don't know how I deal with it.
Wow. You hear them back?
What? Why don't you speak up, Maria? No, it's lying.
Yeah, let's hear what Maria has to say. So your daughter's name is Maria?
You want to talk to the audience? Well, let's put the famous picture on for a second.
Oh, you could tell him it's a very stressful life.
See?
It's a very stressful life.
Phyllis, Phyllis, I can't even imagine how stressful it is. I wish you would call us to share more about your life.
Would you like? Could I possibly try to book Phyllis for next week? Have the production staff book her for half an hour?
Well, maybe Phyllis will be more comfortable coming on without you.
Maybe you could book her privately.
Cut it out. I'm not going anywhere.
You know what I could do? I could actually interview Phyllis off the air and then play it on the air. We could do just me and Phyllis on the phone. It won't be live, and we can talk about her situation.
Oh, wow, that is a possibility. You have your production staff call her, you mean?
Absolutely. We will call her. We'll do it on her time, and I'll actually let her listen to it even before it goes on the air if she wants to make any edits, just so she's totally comfortable. I think America wants to know how Joe from Staten Island's wife deals with this.
Well, let me.
Tell him I have acid reflux. I have acid reflux. That's how I deal with it. I don't deal with it.
You know what she said?
I heard that.
She suffers from acid reflux.
Can't deal with it.
Among other, shall we say, psychosis.
Acid reflux is not a psychosis. You're the psychotic about it, not me.
I'm a psychotic?
I'm not a psychotic.
You're a psychotic.
Hair loss, so you are.
Millions of hair loss sufferers. What are you talking about?
I'm not psychotic.
20 million people listen to this broadcast right now. I'm sorry, man.
I'm not psychotic.
Why don't I put a cell phone number out right now so millions of people can call and give an email address? Should I do that first?
I wouldn't allow it, man. I wouldn't allow that. I think I have too much respect for Phyllis, and I have to respect her for living with you for 20 years.
Oh, man.
You want acid to
You're castigating me now on the air. Oh, man.
Tell him it's 31. It's 21 after the 13th.
21 years, Ev.
On the 13th.
Well, happy, what's the word? Anniversary, Phyllis. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. It's the same.
Maybe we should have been just send another camera crews to my house and film my whole family.
Well, you know what? That's up to your family. I would love to put together some sort of a documentary, at least something short, a short documentary that could actually maybe just put on YouTube initially and see how well it does. I would foot the bill, obviously, but we can get the guys from Queens out there. What was that?
My wife doesn't realize that I can make tremendous amounts of money. She thinks there's no like remember I said in one of the interviews, she thinks this is all in my mind. She doesn't realize millions of people know who I am in this world. Is that true, Spencer?
It is true. Many people know who Joe from Staten Island is, and they write about him on our message forums, and we have thousands upon thousands of people that listen to this broadcast that know Joe. So he's not BSing you when he says that people know who he is.
When will it stop?
She wants to know when will it stop.
When will it stop after 21 years?
It will stop when the cure comes.
The minute you get a cure, you're out.
Listen to this. Say this. Listen to this.
Look, I honestly, Phyllis, I don't think it's ever going to stop with Joe. I mean, even if there is a cure, I think that, and it's gonna be a situation where it's probably going to be more of an effective treatment. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what Joe's life beyond the bald truth is, but the way he describes it, it's not great.
No, I suffer from a lot of psychotic illnesses.
But I mean, when I hear the fact that you have this family in the car, you have a wife, you have children, I mean, you seem like a lucky guy, man.
Thank you. You just said a mouthful. Amen. Hallelujah. He is a happy, lucky guy. He should be happy, but he's not. He's got a lot in his life, but he's not happy. And I can't deal with it. I can't.
Are you recording this lesson for the Ball Truth Archives, man?
It's a mouthful.
Dude, this is live, and it's being recorded.
It's being recorded? Anything further you want to say?
Wonderful. I'm on air. Great.
It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. I hope you record that for us.
All right, guys, listen. Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. A lot of guys are commenting, on the message forum on the chat room 2 weeks ago that if Reposol has the negative announcement to make in April, they'll actually commit suicide.
Well,
Have you heard that?
that's sad, and it's disturbing, and I really prefer not to even know about that stuff, Joe.
Yes, a lot of people are threatening that their lives will end. The Reposol news is negative, and they will actually commit suicide.
Well,
people are transmitting this, telling me this.
I think that's really sad, man. I think there's so many different ways to deal with this, and I've told you this, Joe, that there's a lot of guys out there. I know some guys that are just they live their life. They end up they don't want to be bald, so they maybe they get either a combination of a hair transplant, they wear a piece, or they just wear a piece, and their wives accept them, their children accept them. They live their lives and enjoy their lives without feeling that they can't not deal with anything that has to come their way. They take care of their kids, and they do what they need to do without being so miserable.
That's right.
Well, Spencer, you deal with millions of people every week. You know all the emails you get. I say 99% of hair loss sufferers lead, as Marcus said, half of a life. Am I correct in that analysis?
Well, I would say that we don't live the fullest lives that we could, but there are a lot of guys out there that learn how to deal with it and live a life. They may not be as happy as they would have been if they didn't have to deal with hair loss, but they figure out a way to live a life. And that's what we've been trying to do for Joe for so many years, Phyllis. And I just wish that I could help in some way.
Absolutely.
Well, what happened?
Nothing. All right, dude. Hold on, Joe, all right? Joe hung up. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Spencer.
Yes.
Joe Tronic.
Hey, Joe. What's happening, bro?
I'm just glad that you're on. I was looking for you last week, and you're off the air, and it took me about 10 minutes to figure it out after watching the repeat.
Yeah, that's what happens. We throw everybody off that way.
It worked.
No, we're cool.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I can't complain. How's the hair looking? All right.
It's looking good, and
Thanks.
I got to say it's a testament to the quality of the paint job and the hair you have with this HD looking image I got on the video. It looks really good.
Yeah, I have to with the higher quality. I have to put a little bit of the paint in the hairline. Sometimes I think it's too much, but I think I've done a pretty good job. So, thank you.
Yeah, very, very good, very good.
Thanks.
So, let's see what's going on.
What did you think?
Spencer,
What did you?
and,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just cut you.
well, I was going to say the movie thing with Spex and Dr. Feller. That's pretty cool.
I think it's really cool. I don't know why people don't give a shit about it. I don't even understand that. I think it's a big deal. I think, we gave Spex, 7.5 minutes of airtime and people are complaining.
I don't know why they complain about that. If they complain about that, then I'd hate to see what they say when I'm on for even longer.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Well, you know what it's like. Usually when you're on the air, something is written about you in the message form, or there's an inference.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But the problem with his announcements, it kind of trumps what I was about to say. And I've got a movie coming out too, which I was going to make a big announcement.
Let's hear it. What is
kind
it?
of trumped. Well, I was downtown in Vancouver today, and there were some tourists from Japan. I just happened to be caught in their whole movie. I heard something about YouTube. So
that's awesome. Mazel tov, man. That is great.
I think they got like my right ear or something in the. I don't know.
That's great. I've been in many of those, man.
As
long as you actually had your clothes on.
Well,
I don't want to go there.
Watch the video. Watch the video. No, I think it's. I wanted to comment on the on that announcement and what that means. And I heard you say that it's very important, and I agree. I think it is important for us because anyone that thinks it's not, they need to consider this. The more exposure that this field gets, the harder or the more difficult time these hack doctors will have to continue to make a living.
Absolutely, man.
I think that the more people are out there that can see what's going on, the pressure will be on to either up your game or get out.
It's. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. And these kids don't understand that. If I'm not talking about the next great thing on this broadcast, they bitch about it in the message in the chat room, and I get it. They have the right to to want to listen to or hear whatever they want or watch whatever they want, but this is important stuff, and I just don't think people understand the enormity of something like this. And look, even something like you were on the news the other day in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Tell the guys about that.
Well, there was the announcement of I forget the name of the protein. I know Joe Staten Island knows what it is, but yeah, some protein that was discovered to be at play with hair loss, and the study found that areas of hair loss that had 3 times as much of this protein.
The prostaglandin D2 protein.
There you go. Thank you very much. And so was it Global, which is one of the big networks in Canada. They gave us a call. We're oftentimes one of the go-to people that they'll talk to about stuff like this, and they wanted to come in and talk to us about it. It's like, okay, great. And so they came in and they had an interview with me and with Dr. Hasson, and we probably had 20 minutes of footage, and they wound up putting maybe 4 seconds of me and 4 seconds of Dr. Hasson, and it had nothing to do with the subject matter at hand. It was talking about the alternative with hair restoration, and that was it.
And that's the way that it usually is. I've been interviewed by, I don't mean to sound obnoxious, but like a lot of media outlets, and I've been in several documentaries, and there are times they've spent the entire day with me. I'm talking about like an 8-hour day, and I'll get like a minute and a half. And that's it, and that's, you do it because, A, it's important to get the exposure. It's cool to be, involved in these things. But there are times when they do take things out of context and they kind of make you sound, I almost spit on the microphone, like an idiot at times. They will kind of like, I always tell people, especially when they're new to media, that you have to make yourself edit proof. I'm kind of a slow talker, but what I will do when I'm in front of the camera, doing a news piece, I'll speed it up because it makes it more difficult for them to edit. And that's a little trick of the trade. So if you ever want to get your point across, don't be too slow because it gives them too much time to edit things out.
I like that.
Yeah, it works.
So like you're speaking from experience where someone has actually used the edit option against you.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I've had the edit option against me on the news. I've had the in text. Forget about it. There was a story in 2003. I was on the cover of the style section of the Washington Post, Sunday style section. Great article. I thought it was going to be a great article, but what they chose to do is, part of it was, listen, it was still great exposure, but they spoke to guys like, Randall Sword and Matt Levitt and kind of included their side of the story into what I do and who I am. And it was a very skewed, the guy was trying to be quote unquote fair and balanced. I just did air quotes. But really, it was a really skewed look at what I do and who I am. So you just have to be prepared when you're going out there and putting yourself out there. You never know what the end result's going to be. You never know what the finished product is going to be. Is it going to portray you in a great light? You hope so, but there's always a possibility that they won't.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally, it's exciting to get these calls sometimes, and it's like, oh, wow, it's nice to be involved and it's nice to be considered, but then it's like, well, wait a minute. They've got, all the power to turn everything that you say completely against you.
Absolutely. And you know what? There are times when I've had to make some decisions where I thought, this doesn't feel right. I was interviewed for the New Yorker magazine, and the guy that interviewed us, they came to the show down in Westwood One, and then they said that they had met with Larry Lee Bosley, and they were asking Larry Lee about me. And as soon as they said that, I was like, look, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Because I knew that it would be skewed. So you just, that's the way it is. You kind of have to pick and choose if you can. But the great thing about new media is you can create your own media. If enough people are willing to watch you and listen to you, you can create your own media.
Well, make no mistake, YouTube and all these other outlets where people can just upload whatever they want. It's completely changed everything. So, if there's a negative story out there, you can put your own spin on it and make it go your way.
Well, you could put the truth out there. That's the difference,
Yeah.
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 So,
let's see something else. I did actually have something I wanted to tell you guys
let's hear
last
it.
week when I called. Last
so wait
month,
a second.
Dr.
So
Hasson
you called last week because you thought I was live.
No, I was going to call.
Oh, okay.
It didn't get me that much.
All right.
That would have been really embarrassing. So even if that did happen, I wouldn't have admitted to it. But no, I did have something I wanted to tell you about. We've spoken a few times about this micropigmentation stuff, right?
Yes.
And last month, Dr. Hass and I and my colleague Doug went to Europe for consultations in Rome, Madrid, and then to London. And before I continue,
don't you have a life, by the way?
Oh man, it is. It's really tough actually because we saw 250 guys over the course of 8 days.
Yeah,
that's not easy.
But I'm assuming you probably like Spain the most.
No,
you don't.
No, why would you assume Spain?
I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of great nightlife. I love Spanish food personally, and I love, I just like the culture. So maybe that's just me. What do you like the most?
No, I like it a lot. I really, really dig Spain, but Rome just for something, I don't know what it is, but Rome just does it for me.
Yeah.
I'm
cool.
fascinated by Rome. And Italy in general, I've been to various parts of Italy. It's just great. But when we were in Rome, we got a phone call, and it was someone that we work with in Italy that found out about this woman in northern Italy in Milan who does micropigmentation. And she found out that we were in Rome and wanted to come meet us. And that same day, she hopped on a train with her partner and came down to Rome and took us out to dinner. And turns out, we had seen some of her patients during her consultation. She does a temporary micropigmentation, and it lasts for up to 2 years, and it does not turn blue.
Wow.
And she's come up with, it's this proprietary technique where the injections are more shallow than traditional micropigmentation or tattooing, and it's the formulation of the ink or whatever it is she's using is her own and her partner's, and they actually have the patent on this, and they're selling the systems to various hospitals throughout Italy. And I got to see some of the work in person, and it looked really good. I saw someone bald guys, and I saw someone guys like this one guy that we've been dealing with for a couple of years. He is actually an intermediary. He's an attorney and works with him on some other things, but he has a decent amount of hair, but he had it all filled in, and for added density, and it looked really good. And
I think
it's exciting.
I think what you said a mouthful with the temporary, the fact that it may fade, but it doesn't turn blue, and the fact that it just goes away, so you just get retouched. That's amazing.
And you know how I feel about this stuff. And
dude, I'm not a fan of scalp micropigmentation. I've seen too many horror stories. You know, so.
But I wanted to tell people that they're watching or listening about this, because if you are actually to the point where you're considering this is the only option I've seen. And make no mistake, I've seen a lot more micropigmentation on my trip to Europe this last time than I've ever seen before.
Right.
And all of it looked questionable at best.
So what makes them different? Is it the also? I mean, it's one thing to be able to develop these pigments that will eventually fade and disappear. What about the artistic aspect of it? How do you know?
It's there. She followed with the artistry. It was.
But that's her.
As good as any artistry I've seen.
But that's her. I mean, how does that translate to other people using her inks?
Oh no! I fully understand that question. That's always the question, right? I mean, it's just like with any hair transplant surgeon. If they're doing the same technique as the next guy, it doesn't mean that the artistry will be the same.
Right.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, if you absolutely have to have it done, if you have any sort of access to Europe, if you go there often, or if you're listening from Europe, Milan, Italy is the place to go from what I've seen.
Well, you know what? I would love if you can contact her and have them contact me. There's a lot of this stuff being talked about on Bald Truth Talk forums. I would love for something legitimate to be presented to people who are considering this.
Yeah, she's. There are a couple of videos on YouTube. It's all Italian. She speaks about 3 words of English. But a guy I know in Italy did an interview with her, and it's on YouTube and a couple of the other.
Oh, it's funny. There's a guy living free Norwood 3 in the message forums in the chat room that's saying, "Isn't this the guy that said that hair tattoos are ridiculous?"
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know if I said they're ridiculous. I'm not sure about that, but I've never been a fan of them.
Right.
And I have no problem saying that. And now you're saying it seems like a sales pitch. I doubt it's a sales pitch. This is some woman in Milan, Italy I've met once, so I don't see how it could be a sales pitch. I'm just saying that if you're going to do it, I've seen it. This looks good. I've seen other variations.
Dude, just embrace your haters, dude. Like I just told Spex, embrace your haters. Don't even worry about it. I would not allow you to come onto this program to sell something. And I think that my regular listeners know that, and the guys that actually know who Joe Tillman and who Joe Tronic is on the internet knows that you're not out there to sell anything.
Thank you.
So
thank you. But anyone out there that's considering it, I've seen that there is a potential for a solution that isn't going to turn your head blue, which is the number one issue, and then the artistry is the second issue, and she's got a handle on that side of it as well.
Oh, that's great. I would love to see it. If you can have her contact me, I'd love to take a look at her work and kind of get an idea of. I still don't understand the concept of this disappearing ink. I mean, what happens to it? How does it degrade in your body and then just disappear?
My Italian's not that good. I don't know.
All right.
I'll find out more, and I'll put you in touch with her if I can.
All right, bro. Listen, I appreciate the call. How's everything else? All right?
Good. And someone just asked, hey, Spencer, what's the biggest HT that Hasson did? Was it 9,000 grafts? I can answer, yes, it was 9,000 grafts. We broke that.
Oh, you know what? Let's talk about that, because there's some controversy on Bald Truth Talk forums about that. You put this out there, and then John Cole comes out, who's an IHS accepted member as well, and says that, well, that's not really the case. I've done 9,000 grafts before, so there's some sort of controversy there. I think you explained it. Maybe you can explain it to the listeners.
Yeah, as far as I know, this is the only 9,168 graft case ever performed on the planet that's only head hair. And I stated in my post, I guess I should have qualified that, but of course anyone who knows our clinic knows that that's all we do is scalp hair transplantation. We don't do body hair.
Right.
Dr. Cole, God bless him, I think that he was getting his his 2 cents in to show that he's done the same thing, but he wasn't qualifying that it's most likely, I'm 99% sure on this, a body hair or body and scalp hair hybrid case. Which,
right.
I mean, if you're doing body hair, I mean, there's 25,000 graft cases out there which are not really valid. So,
well, I found it interesting that it definitely sparked some controversy. And the fact of the matter is, I would say that I've been doing this for a long time. I'm pretty convinced that you guys did the first hair transplant, hair graft. Geez, I can't speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
just scalp hair.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to ask John Cole if that's actually what he was, saying that he did. I don't think that's the case, though. I don't know. I have to ask him. Maybe I'll give him a call and see if he can explain that. But I found.
Well, he was also saying that he's done 7,000 and 8,000, and again, I mean, I even searched the forums. Again, I think that's probably body hair. As far as I know, we're the only ones that have broken 7,000. I know Dr. Rahal's broken 6,000 a few times. We've been doing that for several years now, and I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I'm definitely interested to see how it grows. I'm excited to see the final results in whatever 12 months. And
well, I've got one I'm going to be posting really soon. It was a guy in Spain that we saw at 10 months post-op. It was 8,402 grafts in one session, and he looks phenomenal. We call him the Spanish George Clooney.
Oh, wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that, man. And you know what? I'm telling you, if this, I am not a fan of scalp tattooing. Let's go back to switch gears back to scalp tattoos.
Sure.
But if it's something that is not going to turn blue, that looks really good, and that's temporary, that may save me some time in the morning.
I wasn't thinking about you in this, but you know what? Maybe it's an opportunity for you to change your routine, for sure.
That would be great. That would be great. All right, man. Listen, contact them. Tell them to contact me. I'm very interested in learning more.
Okay, we'll do, Spencer.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Hey, no problem. Good talking
All right,
to you.
take care. 888-659-3727. Let's take another phone call, and then I'll pot up Joe and say goodnight to everybody. Hey, who's this? You're on the air.
Hey, it's Sam from New York.
Hey, Sam. What's happening, man? What can I do for you?
Oh, well, happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
And
happy Easter, happy Passover, whatever you celebrate.
Yeah. I celebrate Easter. In fact, today went to church with the family. Was pleasantly surprised. There were a lot of people in the congregation, and happened to actually get a seat right up front. And I was there praying with the family, and I looked up, and I see Jesus on the cross, and I said, "Wow, even Jesus has a full head of hair." and he's made from God's image.
Right.
So I guess even he rejected hair loss.
That's actually a very interesting insight and disturbing at the same time.
Yes. And went out with the family, dinner. We had a great time. I can't complain. So I just wanted to wish you and the rest of the people out there happy Easter, happy Passover.
Well, Sam, I appreciate the call, and happy holidays to you. And I'm sorry that you have to be thinking about hair loss when you're in church, but I guess that's what we do.
Yeah, and I just wanted to comment. Your other friend that was just speaking about the hair pigmentation person in Milan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of one called His Hair Clinic?
His Hair Clinic is probably the most promoted scalp micropigmentation outfit in the world at this point. So yes, I have.
Yeah, they're in London. Then they're now in New York.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. And I actually went to check it out and see what it's about. But what I found that the guy who was actually going to be the tattoo artist or the pigmentation person, he had it done himself. But when I looked at his head, he had actually a lot of hair, of his own hair. And with your own hair, it blends in. You don't notice it that well. But if you have a person who has a completely bald scalp that's smooth skin, you don't get the same effect.
Well, how did it look on him? Did it look good?
On him, it looked decent. It looked a little dark, a little too dark but he was young, so I guess he can get away with it. But
well, let me ask you this: he can get away with it, but would you notice it beyond close inspection? If you just looked at him, would you say there's something going on?
No, because his hair was about maybe 1/8 of an inch sticking up. So even though he had maybe sparse hair, but he had enough that, like, if you touched the top of his head, you felt hair all over, as opposed to, let's say, a person who's completely smooth baby skin, bald.
Right.
Then we don't have that raised little kind of popping up effect. So it kind of, I believe, and I haven't seen somebody with it, I believe it would not look as good. So
I've never been a fan of it, and I think that for guys who are very bald, who want to do the complete shaved look, who are getting this done, there's a couple of issues that I have. And you just pointed one out. When you feel the guy's scalp, it's not going to feel like there's any hair there if he's very bald and it's just these tattooed dots. And honestly, on close inspection, at least with my eye, I can see it.
Yeah. I mean, because he had some hair, so it kind of was masking it. But when I really tried to look in a location where there was a little bit more, I guess, vacancy between hairs, it just looked like a blob of ink. It didn't really look like little tiny dots the way they say it does.
Yeah, I would. I'm not a fan of it. I'm definitely not a fan of it. And it's funny. I'm reading the chat room. Living Free Norwood 3 is saying that I was just trying to be nice. Look, with Joe Tronic, I trust Joe Tillman's opinion. He is a guy that has been very forthright and honest in this industry, a guy that's been screwed over himself and that has kind of found his way through, hair transplantation. And if he says something looks good, I have to trust his opinion. I'd have to see it for myself first. But I do like the idea of a non-permanent type of scalp pigmentation.
Yes. When I heard that, I said I have to call him because you definitely got to get them on the air and try to at least, maybe they have a website, we can take a look, but you know what? A website, I've seen HIS Hair Clinic's website, and they look right there. But in reality, when you see them live, it's a different story.
Let me tell you something. Pictures, you cannot go by pictures at all. Pictures give you a general idea. I say this all the time in hair transplantation. I did a video that is up on YouTube. It must have over 300,000 views, and it's basically shows the tricks of the trade, in my view, in the hair transplant industry, and what you can make appear to look like a before and after photo with just a little bit of lighting, either using a flash or not using a flash. We took images that were taken 10 seconds apart, and it's just by manipulating the flash, it looked like a before and an after photo. So imagine what you're going to be doing with these scalp tattoos. I mean, a two-dimensional image can never, ever truly represent what something looks like in person. So you have to see it for yourself.
Now, I wanted to say that I had a lot of difficulty trying to get the network on the internet. I could not get the live feed. I had to go to the audio towards the end, but your regular feed was not working. Stickcam, Justin TV, Ustream, none of it.
Really?
Now, I don't know if anybody else... Yes, I tried. I thought it was my computer, so I grabbed my wife's computer. Even her computer was just as bad.
That's weird. I mean, I'm not having a problem. I'm actually looking at it right now, so it might be your internet. I don't know. That's good to know, though. I appreciate that.
I don't know if anybody else is having a problem with it, but I could not get it live today. So
Yeah, a lot of guys in the chat room are saying that it's working good tonight. It looks like HD TV for him. Okay, Apple Orchard. He has a question. Dude, listen, by the way, thank you so much for calling. Let me know if I know you're probably not going to go for the scalp micropigmentation, but if you have any more information about it, please let us know. Give us a call. And
I'm definitely interested in that other person because it's not permanent, and that is the key right there. Because if they screwed it up, at least it's going to go away.
Yeah, but I want to know, how is it not permanent? How does it fade? How does it react in your body? I mean, it's kind of an interesting idea, but I need to know more about it before I could ever recommend something like that.
Well, I'm waiting. Oh, was there anything new in Replicell since I didn't get to hear the show?
No, we're still waiting for the results, and hopefully we can get an interview in the next week or so.
Okay, because I thought I overheard just the last segment that I got Joe saying that if the news is negative or the news might be negative in April.
No, he said that if the news is negative, he read that there are people out there that are going to off themselves, which is insane to me and scary, but I guess there's probably some guys out there that just can't deal with it, man.
Yeah, well, it sets a depression in you that's so bad that it really changes your life. I could tell you that.
Look,
yeah.
I know that for a fact, but I'm the type of guy that will, do whatever he can to feel comfortable in his own skin and live my life, whether it's a paint job, hairspray, if I need to glue hair on, if I need to get a hair transplant, whatever it is that's going to get me through the day, I will do. Life is important to me. I don't want to off myself. Yeah, you're not going to feel as comfortable as you would if you didn't have to deal with this, but that's the way that it is. Guys have bigger problems than hair loss. And I know how big, believe me, I know what a big problem it is. This is what I do for a living. I get it. But I think people need to still put things into perspective and say, okay, this sucks. Life could be better if we didn't have to deal with this. We'd probably be more attractive, all that stuff. But there are ways to deal with it if you're willing to go those routes.
Hit the gym.
That's right, bro. That's right. All right, listen,
all right.
I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Yes, take care. Bye.
Question from, and the chat is so busy that I can't find it now, and then I have to go off the air. It was in bold, so let me see if I can find it. Apple Orchard wants to know, what's the difference between dormant and dead hair follicles? Well, dormant hair follicles are follicles that we think still have some life in them and that can be regenerated or revived. Dead hair follicles are just dead. Most people with alopecia disorders like traction alopecia or different scarring alopecias will not have revivable hair follicles. In many cases, alopecia areata, if it's something that has been in process for a very, very long time, sometimes those hair follicles are not revivable. But most men who are suffering with common androgenetic alopecia have what's known as dormant hair follicles. And the thought is that those hair follicles do not die. Now, when I wrote my book, science was under the impression that hair follicles would die after a certain amount of time through androgenetic alopecia. Now that thought process is changed. So they believe that even guys who have been bald for 20, 30 years, as long as there's some vellus hair there, they have a chance of reviving those hair follicles. I hope I answered your question. I'm not going to give out the phone number because I'm going to go off the air now. Let me give out the websites. TheBaldTruth.com, of course, for the archives of The Bald Truth and anything you want to know about the radio program, go to TheBaldTruth.com. If you are a woman dealing with hair loss, please check out Women'sHairLossProject.com. And if you want to join the message forum and interact with other hair loss sufferers, check out BaldTruthTalk.com. Until next time, I want you all to be strong, God bless, and thank you so much for listening. Take care.